He leaves the 7-10.
And unfortunately, we were just told that we had some technical difficulties. Thank you to Mr. Schimmer for letting us know. Unfortunately, had some technical difficulties where a soundboard had some issues. So unfortunately, we've been live streaming without any sound as of now. So now that should be all taken care of and good to go. So we do apologize for that inconvenience.
So we were quiet the whole time we were...
Quiet the whole time. Yes.
Oh, man.
Except for the video, the intro video, which, you know, that's really important to the day. So,
okay.
All right, guys, we should be good to go now.
Well, we're sorry for that technical difficulty. We all thought you guys were able to hear us. Well, for that note, we're going to pretty much refresh everything that we have. I'm Joey Petzoldt. Alongside with me is Brendan Pick. That was Ricky Matsko, who just came in there, the tournament director. Today, the kids are bowling in the 2014 USBC Open Team event. The pattern is 43 feet long, and we already made our predictions here. I said predictions today for the cut is going to be 94 over for the scratch. Brendan said 83, as Ricky Matsko said 93. High scores in last game. Ben Pallardy, last month's champion at Frontier, led the field with a 278 with the front 9, which was in front of us. Armando Godoy, I believe that's how you say his last name, had 268, and then a lot of 200s.
A lot of 200s.
A lot of 200s followed it up. It's Ben Houston Johnson in front of you, converted the 4-pin. Over on the other side, Mick Ian converts to 7. As we jump down to the lower end, as you see over to the right, Bratislava. Well, guess what that is? That's another 8-pin by Bratislava. Another 8-pin. That one was a little light, not as flush as that last one he had. As Austin Audi is in front of us, Ryan Patterson right next to him as Matt Pearson also goes to the is on the left side of him. As Matt comes up on his first on his shot, gets all 10 back. It's Austin Audi. Going Brooklyn. Last time I saw someone strike Brooklyn was Matt Turek when he shot his 300.
Congratulations to our producer here at the MJTs, Mr. Matthew Turek, on shooting a 300 and an 800. And the last shot of that 300 did not go as planned, I believe.
I don't think anyone expected the ball. Let's just say this. When he put it down, it was nowhere close to...
Now, see, I've met Matt. I'm pretty sure he was just trying to show off, folks. He was, you know what? Anyone can hit the pocket and strike for 300, but how about we hit the left side of the head pin and kick the 5-10 out late? That'll really impress the folks back home. And, you know, Matt is all about live stream and video, so I appreciate you getting that on video for us.
Well, as we mentioned in the beginning, as you've been seeing throughout the film, we've had this tracker with the Midwestern Junior Tournament live from St. Charles Lane. That's our new tracker. And what we're going to do is on the top, we're going to have the handicap division, all the leaders, their total, and then on the bottom is going to be the scratch. So you'll have a running list of who's like who has what total, where they're where their standings. But something else we said in the beginning that we weren't able to have anyone hear is that the Midwestern Junior Tournaments, our broadcasting is actually going to be traveling to, where is it?
It's down in Union, Missouri.
Union, Missouri.
At Oasis Lanes.
At Oasis Lanes. We have been offered to live stream the Missouri State High School Finals. And
I'm excited.
That's pretty big for us. We're all very excited for this to happen. I know I'm just ready to go down there and see some of these high school bowlers come out and try to take their team to the championship. Baker format, so that's going to be, I think, even better to see that happen.
It's all about team. There's no one player who can dominate. It's whoever team is most unified and strong as a unit.
Indeed. As you see Armando in front of you putting up a double in the 4th. I'm looking down as we already got some big scores. Riley Smith, who started off with a 160, comes up on lane 24. Had the front 4 coming a little high, leaving the 4-pin though.
Right in front of us, we had Madison Yinger stone a 10-pin. Looking on, we have 15-year-old Tony Resnick on 28, folks. He just threw the ball. For those of you who don't know Tony, he is very well built for a 15-year-old.
Indeed, he is.
He can throw the ball like nobody else's age.
It's Ben Houston Johnson there, getting all 10 back, working on the 3 spares in a row. Getting the first one is Jason Robarg. Goes 3 in a row, 8-1, and back to 3 in a row. So he's going to try to put himself in contention. Jumping down to the lower end here, we have Sean Bybee looking to convert a 4-pin over on lane 24. I keep on getting my lanes mixed up down there. Every time I look at the screen, it's like, oh, they're on lane 21 and 22, but our feature pair is actually not.
I'm not even looking at the lanes. I'm just watching everybody strike.
That's Donald Lee coming up, getting a strike. In front of us, Austin Easley. Still balls the little out there, leaving the 1-3-6. As we're going to actually jump back down here to the lower end. Riley Smith, one of the top bowlers in the house, working on that 9 spare and getting that light swisher. And I'm pretty sure from what you talked about, that's going to be, you're going to see that a lot. You're either going to see guys playing it where they're going 10 back or where it's going to be light.
Yeah, early on in the day, even though we didn't have sound, you could definitely see the Ben Pallardy had just a great, fantastic look, and there really wasn't any light swishing there. But we were talking about a transition here at St. Charles Lanes, and while that looks great now, we've also run into some high friction. You can look around, you see a lot of 4-pins, and then a lot of very unfortunate and bad timed 4-9s.
So the 4-9 is something we'll probably be seeing a lot, maybe even depending on how much friction is going to be set on the outside. I'm going to be guessing possibly some 6-7-10s, maybe even some 4-6-7s. Maybe that's just me though. It depends though.
The house characteristics here definitely lean itself towards free friction, and so trying to control that strong down lane reaction is going to be key.
As Armando up on lane 29, leaving
Kicks
the 10 pin.
4 there, almost left the pocket 4-10.
Indeed. I like how he's playing though. He's playing it more straighter, staying behind the ball, really putting some speed on it, and it's working. But then there's guys, as you see to your left, Jason Robarg, leaving the 4-pin, who are getting left and are just really getting around that ball and getting it out there. As Armando easily converts the 10-pin.
Throws it back on the deck. How dare you stand on me?
Brad Sislevich over on lane 24, leaving a 10-pin. Got some interesting leaves as you look at the live stream here. Ronnie Fujita leaving the 6, 7, 9, 10. And he takes 3 off of it. And Brad Sislevich going for his 10-pin, and Donald Lee looking to convert the 1-3. Brad will get the 10-pin. And Donald Lee will convert his spare. Now, most of these bowlers here, as we were talking about when we thought we had audio or sound, most of these bowlers here are going to be competing either I should say leaving tomorrow or Monday, between Sunday and Tuesday. Let me say that we'll be leaving to Reno to travel for the intercollegiate singles for college, and then there's also the intercollegiate team nationals, as bowlers such as Kyle Sherman, Armando Godoy, Riley Smith, Ronnie Fujita, bowlers. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else here in the field that I can think of. I think that's all I can find.
If we missed it, we apologize.
Yes. They all, including myself, I can say, I'm proud to say, have qualified for the team event for the ITCs, which will be taking place Wednesday. As for the singles event, Michaela Douglas, one of the few females here bowling in this event, She qualified for the intercollegiate singles, which will be taking place Monday. So good luck to everyone that will be competing this upcoming week. I'm just hoping that Linwood comes back with the hardware. Be nice to go out on my senior year with a bang.
We have a lot of bowlers out here from Lindenwood as well as McHenry, so a little bit of rivalry both in the singles field today and I'm sure out there in Reno this week.
Mm-hmm. As here comes Madeline up on lane 29. Playing it really tight, but a really good ball. 10 back, puts a double up on the board now. As here Ben Houston Johnson up on lane 30. Has Jason Robarg on lane 28. Another strike. That's going to put him over 200.
With one more strike, he looks to be shooting 230.
230.
And right in front of us, Ben Houston Johnson has made a ball change and crumbles out the 6 to only leave the 4 pin.
As he's trying to stay clean from what it looks like. He's doing a very good job at doing so. With going 3 spares in a row and then a double.
Yeah, but with today's scores, you might have to strike a little bit more than that.
Indeed, as Jason Robar coming a little high but tripping the 4-pin forward, giving him 3 in a row now, and that's going to put him into that 230 situation. As Austin Easley coming a little high, leaving the 4-7. As Ben Houston Johnson converts the 4-pin.
Mick Eaton delivers on 27 and strings a 3rd one in a row, and he is looking to put himself in the 230s as well.
As Jason Robarg will finish off with a strike, that will give him a 233 game for this second game. As Austin Easley will easily convert the spare. Looking down, some scores being put up. Dan Hillary, if he punches out in the 10th here, he will have a 255 game. As we look down here at the lower end, Brad Slavich looking to come up. Make a good shot. Donald Lee also in front of you. On your left, though, you'll see Matt Pearson, though. He's coming up working on a string. And he goes 10 back.
Kayla Douglas throws one there on the most far right side of your screen and immediately does not like it.
As Brad Slavich doesn't like that shot.
Didn't want to leave another 8-pin.
That's a $500 fine in the PBA, but we're not the PBA. Donald Lee getting the ball a little left, leaving the bucket. As in front of us, Armando leaving the 310. As we are actually handed scores, so we will give you an update of what we have. Whenever we get the chance, we'll put this on the ticker. In first place in the scratch division, last month's champion Ben Pallardy with 278. Second place, Armando Godoy. I'm going to try to start pronouncing that last name. 268. Matt Pearson in third with 264. Ronnie Fajita is fourth with 245. Jason Robarg is in fifth with 244. Ryan Patterson is in sixth with 233. Dan Hillary is seventh with a total of 225. Michaela Douglas right now sitting eighth place at 223. Right behind him is Mick Eden with ninth with 218. Tony Resnick is 10th with 213. Ben Houston Johnson also in 10th with 213. And the last person to go plus is Sean Bybee, who's sitting 12th right now at 207. In the handicap division, Madison Yinger, is that how you say it? Yinger currently sits first place with 215. This is handicap scores. Second place is Landon Richards, who was last month's champion at 210. Isaiah Smith sits third at 204. Hunter Reicher, I believe, is in fourth place right now with 202. As that's the top four right now. The next closest is at 197, Derek Williams. And Mark Karsten is sitting sixth right now at 194. So pretty interesting scores in the handicap side. The scratch division, top 12 out of 19 bowlers just went plus.
A lot of bowling to go, though.
And the top 8 at least shot 220. The top 3 shot 260 plus. Man, talk about some scores.
I look around, I'm seeing 230, 227, 240.
As Michaela, as you saw in front of us, converts the 310. She right now has a 135 in the 7th with the 8 spare. Ben Houston Johnson looking to make a double. Currently has a 127 in the 6th with a strike in the 7th. Austin Easley in front of us, who is currently sitting 8th place in the handicap division, has a 101 in the 6th working on an 8 spare. As Austin Easley looking to make a good shot. Ball coming up a little light, leaving the 3, 5, 6. So we jump down to the lower end. As you see in front, Donald Lee. I think he's the only, one of the few lefties. He's not the only lefty that's out there. And that ball's not getting up. Leaving the 1, 3, 8, 9. That's an interesting leave.
Austin Audie pinches one off and never really gives it a chance and does not look satisfied.
Indeed, he doesn't. As Austin Easley in front of us missed the bucket, only taking 2 off. As Riley Smith, a little toe tap there. Maybe I should try that out.
Keeps the streak going. That's 6 in a row for Riley Smith.
As if he punches out, if he gets this next one, that's 279.
It's a good bounce back from that 160. Good.
Go from 169 to 279. Century yourself.
Century Club. And Armando's looking to get back on things right in front of us and almost crumbles out the 2-8-10.
Leaving just the 8 pin. Coming a little light though. As you can see, he didn't really like it, but from what it could have been, it's better than the split.
Yeah, he's gonna look to just grind this one out and get on to the next game.
As Riley Smith down at the end, leaving a 4 pin, and that's going to give him a 278 game. So he centuries himself, and he gets himself right back into this match as Armando kicking out the 8 pin, and we're going to have some deadwood. As you see Ricky Matsko in front of us. We're going to change the camera as he's apologizing. But we're just going to be updating here the ticker so you guys will be able to read what we have. As you see Ryan Patterson leaving a 9 pin. That's a, ooh, that one hurts. In front of us is Ben Houston Johnson. Just put a strike up on the board going in the 9th frame. So he's a 167.
Sean Bybee looks to get things going with a pitch of his own. 10 back, folks. 10 back. Ryan will run in this 9 pin. No problem.
Yes, here we go. We are going to bring you the tickers across the board after each game. There's the first after game 1. As you see on the top, the handicap score is added with their score is added with their handicap. Other than that, you see the numbers below. That's all scratch. As you see Ryan Patterson coming up in front of us. As we're actually going to jump down to the low end. Armando coming a little high, leaving the 3 pin.
And he does not seem to be having the look he did last game. He's going to drop from that 268 to try to grind out a 190 here. Just padding himself a little bit. We have Madison Yinger trying to clean up and increase her lead in the handicap division.
And she easily converts the spare. Gives her a 175 in the 9th. Strike here gives her a 195 in the 10th. And I'm pretty sure that's going to increase her lead a little bit.
Oh, yeah. She came in today averaging 195, so I think she'll be pleased to put up that on a sport-compliant pattern.
I believe she will, too. Armando over here. He's got a little lane malfunction on lane 30. Not sure. Oh, there we go. Not sure what was going on.
Yeah, St. Charles has been around a while. Sometimes they're a little slow.
It's Michaela coming up to finish her last shot in the 10th.
Great pitch to end the game.
Leaving the 8 pin. 194. The way she throws it, it reminds me of my sister. And when I mean that, like back in the day when she'd always, my sister was someone that rocket to the pocket, never would try to do anything to make the ball hook. She would just throw it right at the head pin. As Armando, up on lane 30, finishes with a strike and gets a 191. Austin Easley here coming up on lane 29. Strikes out, he can shoot a 177.
While action in game 2 kind of rounds up here, I'd like to repeat my thank you to Dennis Hacker for enabling us to secure the Missouri High School State Championship Finals coming up in May. I appreciate it, and I hear you watching out there, so enjoy the show, my friend.
We are very thankful that you are allowing us to broadcast the Missouri State High School Finals. As you see, Ben Houston Johnson putting a double up with his first shot in the 10th. Austin Easley there, missing the 7 pin. Gives him a 154 in the second. Ben Houston punches out here. He will shoot 227. And from the way it looks, that's actually pretty good this second game.
Yeah, scores dropped off a little bit, except for Riley Smith, who got things turned around.
Yeah, Riley definitely did turn it around.
You know, Joey, we were pretty nice in our guesses, and we might be too low.
I'm thinking so. And I really thought plus 94 was going to make the cut for the scratch. Ben Houston looking to put 3 in a row up here.
Walks
Indeed
out.
he does.
It's an international strike for you, folks. That's how they do it across the sea.
One more strike, and that's going to give him the 227 he's looking for. As we're going to jump down here to our lower, actually, we'll let Ben finish his last shot off, and then we will make a jump down to the lower end to show you who's on that featured pair. As Ben Pallardy will finish off with a strike, finishing 227. Jumping down to the lower end here, you see Michaela Douglas over there to the right. Riley Smith over there on lane 22. And that's Mark Karsten, who is in the light green, who just walked back, who converted the 10 pin. Riley Smith getting a little high, leaving the 6-10 as Michaela Douglas missing a 10 pin. Coming up on our featured pair in front of us, Jason Robarg, who finished off his last game with a 133. Trying to remember, how do you pronounce his last name?
We're talking about Tony Resnick?
Resnick, there we go.
Yeah, Tony and I used to bowl league back when he was just as tall as me, but like 3 years younger than he is now. For a 15-year-old, he has a lot of power.
Also featuring on the pair in front of us, we have Blaze Beckman, who is a first-time bowler here, and then we also have Landon Richards, last month's champion at Frontier Lanes.
And it's always nice to see the champions come back and try to defend their titles.
Indeed it is. So we got a very interesting live pair. Bowlers who are really competing up in the top and have a chance to make some jumps into this third game. As we jump down, Ryan Patterson right now, looking to make his shot over on lane 21, I'm sorry.
That looked great.
10 into the pit. As Riley Smith coming up next, looking to do the same thing.
And Ryan wants to keep throwing shots like that so he can repeat as our high qualifier. He was our high qualifier at the last event.
As you saw, Riley Smith there gets the strike. He's marking the ball a little left, leaving the 1-3-6. As once again, lane 30 in front of us is having some of the technical difficulties. As Beckman, as you saw right there, going high, leaving the 8. As here's Landon Richards, who's coming up on lane 29 now. Last month's MJT winner in the handicap division. To the left of him was Dan Hillary, who's currently 7th after game 1. Landon coming high, leaving the 6, 7, 10. There's Jason Robarg up on lane 30 looking to convert the 4-pin.
And does so with no problems.
As you see, Mark coming up here in front of us. Coming a little light, leaving the 2-5.
Michaela Douglas misses that 4-pin. She's struggling a little bit with those single pins today.
And so that's the second one that we've seen her miss. Riley Smith here, looking to put a double up. And that one comes a little high, leaving a 4-pin. So that's 2 high shots on that line. See if he's going to make a move off of that.
Yeah, and as we were mentioning earlier, it seems like every other frame we're seeing a 4-pin or some kind of high check. It is definitely breaking into that transition move, that high friction, and you got to figure out how to control it.
See Riley Smith going to convert the spare. Easily converted. Austin Audie up on lane 23. Ball not really reading up that much, only leaving the 1-2 though.
Yeah, it didn't look like he liked that one. It just kind of kept going down lane, never really flipped over.
As in front of us, you see Derek Williams, who left the 6-10. One of the few actual youth bowlers who bowls here at St. Charles Lanes. One of the bowls actually the Saturday morning. He's one of the top bowlers. As you see Ryan Patterson there, putting up another strike. As we jump down here to the low pair. Beckman going left, but only leaving the head pin. So, only he's got to get the 1.
Hey, I can't say I haven't ever left the head pin, but you know what? Up on the scoreboard, you run it in, it's the same as any 9 spare.
Indeed it is.
And Dan Hillary on 27 kicks out the 5-pin late to put up another strike.
And Beckman easily converts the 1. It's Madison over on lane 28 converts the 5-pin. So right now, after 2 games, we've been handed. Ricky Matsko has given us the top 2 bowlers in the scratch division. Matt Pearson leaves at 540. And second place is Ben Pallardy at 531.
Some high
That's
scores
after
out here.
2 games, ladies and gentlemen. So those 2 bowlers right now have a chance to shoot 800.
I would
That'd
sure like to see it.
That would be very nice to see. You see Landon Richards coming high through the face, only leaving the 10-pin though. And here comes Beckman on lane 29. Ball looking to get a little left, and indeed goes Brooklyn.
A little bit of Turek action there for you on lane 29.
Indeed. You see Ryan Patterson in front of you. Looking to keep a string going here. He has 3 in a row. Got a little fast, leaving the 2-4.
Yeah, he just kind of winged that one.
Looked up at the looks like about the speed that I usually throw it at.
You tend to throw it pretty fast.
Some people say they clocked me throwing Mach 4.
I could believe it.
Alrighty, here we go. Standings are here in my hand. After game 2, Matt Pearson leaves first place with 540. Ben Pallardy second at 531. Third place is Jason Robarg at 477. Dan Hillary is fourth at 467. Armando Godoy sits fifth at 459. Ronnie Fujita sits sixth at 454. Riley Smith, who was second to last, jumps to seventh at 447. Eighth place right now, Mick Eden at 445. Ninth place, Ben Houston Johnson at 440. Ryan Patterson is 10th at 428. Michaela Douglas is in 11th at 411. Sean Bybee is also in 11th at 411. And rounding in 13th is Kyle Sherman at 389. Jumping over to the handicap division, in first place is Casey Gotel. She sits 440, and the totals are with the handicap added. So Casey Gotel is at first at 440. Madison Yinger is in second at 430. I'm sorry, Casey had 440. Michaela, no, blah blah. I am like misreading these handicap scores. Casey Gotel is first at 440. Madison Yinger is in second at 430. Mark Karsten is sitting third at 417. Isaiah Smith, who's on the actually featured pair is on our screen to the left. He sits fourth at 413. Blaze Beckham, who's in front of us, is in fifth at 410. And sixth place right now is Landon Richards at 400. So, big scores.
And for those of you who were paying attention, after game 1, Casey Gotel was sitting in second to last and shot a 151 first game and bounced back, almost also joining the Century Club, shooting a 247 to jump all the way up into first place.
As you see, Beckman in front of us converting the 310 the hard way. But biggest jump of the day, Riley Smith. Even though it's the second game, goes from 18th shooting a 160, shoots 279, and puts himself into the top 7 after that.
And that's one of the more exciting portions about having a scoreable pattern, I should say, like we see in front of us. It's not as easy as, you know, your typical house shot, but with the caliber of bowlers we have out here, big scores can definitely happen. And like Riley showed, if you do it at the correct time, you can jump up from just about anywhere on the standings.
Indeed. As you see, Tony Redsky in front of us, kicking out a light shot, giving him a strike, gets him a 48 in the third.
And I'm sure Resnick is happy with that trip 2 pin.
Well, I would take a trip 2 pin like that.
Oh, every day.
As you see in front of us in the Lindenwood shirt is Jason Robarg, who is currently sitting third at 477.
And on the leftmost portion of your screen, you just saw Timothy Grunler, triple 4 pin to get 3 in a row.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at this cut right now. The cut's 45 over. I really do think we went low. I think we went too low. Robarg up on 30, coming high but trips it. See if he'll make an adjustment now on lane 30 whenever he comes back up. As you see, Austin Easley on 28, just missing a 5 pin. Jump down the lower end. Austin Audie, 10 back in the pit. If anyone is wondering, well, I was just about to say, has any questions, you can always chat us on the Ustream. If you go to the MJTbowling.com website, click on the live streaming, there is a link there that will take you to our account, which is on the Ustream.tv. On there, you will be able to chat with us. Tournament coordinator Ricky Matsko is on the computer, so he will be the one that you'll be able to communicate with. Any questions you have, ask him. He'll tell us, and we will answer your questions if you want to. How you think the pattern is? How would we play it? Top scores, as you can see along this our little ticketer we have. Just any questions you have, ask us, and we'll do the best we can to answer. As you see Landon Richards there on lane 29, leaving a 2 pin. I think it's going to be a very interesting day, especially scoring-wise, and it's probably going to be very interesting to see how these what the cut is and how the round of 8's going to be.
Oh yeah, once we cut to 8 and the players who are left are all, especially if they play it together, scores could just keep going up.
As you see, Michaela Douglas trying to pull this game out. Coming up light. Gets all 10 down. Ryan Patterson, though, looking to convert the 3-6-10. Oh, and he chopped it.
And you know, I wanted to say scores are slowing down, and then I took a look left, and we've got spare 4-bagger, split 4-bagger, bowler down on 26. Looks like he's going at a 280 pace.
As you see right above, as you see on the live stream now, the scores are updated. 540 and 530. Man, that's pretty comfortable. You know, you look. 8th place is at 445. So Matt Pearson has a 95 pin lead over 8th place, and he has 100 on the nose to 9th.
But at the same token, he just shot 540 and only has a 9-pin lead on first.
That is true. Ben Pallardy with 531. It's gonna be a shoot, and I'm pretty sure you're probably calling it with Pallardy being the top qualifier. But do you think Matt Pearson is gonna hold on to this lead?
You know, I've been bowling with Matt for a couple of years, and if there's one thing he can do, it is throw the ball fast with a lot of rev, and I mean a lot of hand.
Indeed.
We were talking about, Joey specifically was mentioning how the heavy-handed players who can get the ball down lane on this high-friction surface are going to just do fantastic. And we're looking at Matt, who gets all of it, and then Ben, who uses both hands to get all of it. And they're sitting up, you know, with the possibility of both shooting 800, which I'd sure like to see.
I think it would be very interesting to see the 800 shot here today. It'd be very nice to see a 300.
I would like one.
I would really like to see that happen. As you see Landon Richards missing the 136, just a little outside.
Yeah, you shake that one off and move on. That's all you can do.
As you see Jason Robarg in front of us right now has an 88 in the 4th with a double as he steps up in the 7th.
Beckham's looking to get back on it, and his jump's a little high, and he leaves the 3-6-10.
Beckham really coming around that ball. I think he puts more revs on it than I do.
I am sure he puts more revs on it than you do.
Over on lane 28, though, looking at the scores there, we got a 290 and a 279 pace going. And a little bit farther down, Mick Eaton has a 280 pace going. So some of the top bowlers are continuing their run. As you see, Jason Robarg gets 10 in the pit to put himself 3 in a row now. As Beckham just missing the 3-6-10, currently has a 97 now in the 7th.
Yeah, and we've seen a few bowlers today chop the 6-10 off that 3-6-10. There is definitely a hang spot out there outside of 5. So while it is relatively playable, there are still zones that are off limits.
Landon Richards up on lane 29, going Brooklyn and gets 10 in the pit.
You take what you can get, Joey.
Indeed, you take anything you can get. Last month's champion still looking to repeat. No one has ever repeated here at the MJT, and it's going to be interesting to see if anyone can. Tony Resnick on lane 30, leaving a 10-pin.
And he was really looking to double there. He had a few footwork issues and fouled a couple of times, and unfortunately he just couldn't get the double there.
Dan Hillary on lane 28, leaving the 2-pin. Goes 9 spare, 5 in a row, and that's a 9 count right there. So possibly 260 or 250. I'm trying to think of math here. 269 if he punches out. Jason Robarg looking to go on 4 in a row here. And he indeed gets 4 in a row. As Ricky Masco here joins us in the booth. Ricky, how's it going?
It's going great right now. Just thought I'd give you guys a score update. Matt Pearson down on, I believe he's on 17 and 18 right now. He had 530 after 2, is it?
540.
540, so he needs 260. Goes front 6, 2.49. Picks it.
Really?
So he's on a 278 pace right now. So
So he still has a chance.
He's lined in right now. So
wow.
And you know, Ricky, we were just talking about how the high friction on this surface is leaving us some really badly timed 4.9s. So
yeah, I've seen 4 already today.
That's
including
a lot
House and Johnstone has 2 of them.
Indeed.
In the first game. So
Tim Grundler there up on lane 28.
Look at him go.
That's 6 in a row now. He's on a 279 pace. As Dan Hillary, who's right above him, is on a 269 pace.
We have Mick Eaton on 26 right now going up. He's on a 280 pace going in the 10th frame. First ball.
Strike here will at least get 270.
That's a strike
Indeed,
right there.
he does.
Great shot.
A lot of high scores. As you know, you're looking at the scrolling marquee. 540 is the top. 8th place right now is at 445.
Wow. So we are a little off on our predictions
we were saying,
so far.
I think our predictions are a little low.
You know, I was going to throw something out there crazy, like 158, but...
And you probably would have been close.
Yeah, but I thought with the high friction that it was just going to bring too many transitions, which kept them behind, but these guys are just keeping up on it, and I saw Pearson's already into like 5th arrow, so we might see some lofting by the end of the day.
I'm pretty sure once it comes to some of the qualifyings, you will see people get left and loft the ball.
And that'll be fun. That'll be fun live stream action for you guys.
Well, I know we've come close at Frontier to get some lofting, but I'm pretty sure with it being St. Charles, we'll get people deep left of the gutter cap.
What do we think about the scrolling marquee? I think it's a pretty darn good addition to our live streaming right there. So
I definitely agree.
I mean, everyone out there can take a look at it, see who's doing what, and it's pretty good.
It's a great opportunity to get names or information out there. And
Ricky, I should say I have a question. I'm pretty sure Brendan here would agree with me. You know, Ben Pallardy and Landon Richards are last month's champion.
Yep.
Pallardy right now is sitting second at 531, and Landon Richards right now is sitting 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think today there is a possibility to have our first repeating champion?
I mean, with Pallardy, right out the gate, it seems like it's such a, if you have the revs for it, you can really open it up early, and that's either hurting people, it's either killing people, or it's putting you right at the top. So that's the only thing that I'll say about that. But with with Landon, it's just about spares for him. I just saw he missed a single pin there, but from what I hear last tournament, he wasn't having that great of a fit in his ball, so he got some adjustments made and fits a lot better now. So hopefully that'll help him out today, and we might have a double repeat, first time ever. That'd
be really, really cool to see if we can get that happening. As you see Ryan Patterson coming a little high, leaving the 4-pin, as he's going to try to convert the spare. As Mick Eaton, as I'm looking down, does complete a 280 game. As Mick was sitting 8th place at 245, so now he's 100 over.
Yeah, he was sitting at that measly 45 over for the cut, which we were already complaining that was so high, and now he's that much higher.
He goes from 45 over to 125 over in one game.
Shake it off.
Ryan Patterson looking to get back on it after that 4-pin, and it comes up light, leaving the 210. We're going to bring it back down here. Just Jason Robarg up on lane 30, looking to go for 5 in a row. Still has an 88 in the 4th as we are entering the 9th frame. And Tim Grundler up on the left has an 8-1, and then the next 7.
Make that the next 8.
Make that the next 8. So he's on a 279 pace, and Jason Robarg right now is on a 268 pace. Where's Tim Grundler sitting right now? He's currently sitting 16th place at 34 under.
Yeah, and I've seen Sammy bowl, and actually we were talking about bowlers who have been successful out at Junior Gold, and Tim has made the cut into the top 64.
Multiple times, I believe. Jason Robarg getting it a little in after that little bit of the delay with the lane 30. Looking to convert the 4-pin now. As you see, Madison over there on lane 28 gets a strike, and that gives her a 158 in the 9th. Possible punch out for a 188.
She's going to try to maintain her position in that top 4 for the handicap. We will cut to top 4 for handicap. And
Pearson, we just got received, is up in the 10th frame going for 278. So he has the possibility to shoot 800. He needs the first one. We're going to see if we can bring it down to the lower end camera. As you see Donald Lee to your left, expect a ball on the left side. There is a possibility. Here he goes. Here's the first shot.
That's his ball, folks.
Is that a 10 pin?
Hey, it looks like a 10 pin.
Indeed, it is a 10 pin. Oh, man. He needed the first one for 800.
Solid run, though, man.
Solid run. What a shot. A 10 pin costs 800. Oh, man, that's a heartbreaker.
That was a sick 10 pin right there.
What is a good shot?
It was a great shot. He's playing about 22 to about 11, 12-ish, keeping it kind of tight. Absolute wrap 10. Picks it up, though. He's going to have 257 this game for 780 or 797.
797 he's going to shoot.
Wow.
Unbelievable. As you saw Jason Robarg in front of you strikes. Gives him a 217 in the 9th. And over to the left, we got the big scores. Dan Hillary, who is currently in the top 8. I believe he is sitting 4th right now. He can strike out and shoot, I believe, 260?
250 something now.
257. And right below him is Tim Grundler, who has the back 8 right now, working on a 279 pace.
And Tim needs it, folks. He's needs to bounce back from the first couple of games. So,
as Matt Pearson strikes on there, 797 after 3. Wow. Dan Hillary gets a strike. He shoots 250. And here comes Tim Grundler up on the left side, too, on lane 27. Looking for that 279 game. Gets the first one.
Kicks that 4 backwards with, looks like a roto-ripple wrecker there for Tim Grundler. And Jason puts up a very respectable 247.
He's been consistently putting up. He hasn't shot like that big game, like that 250. Well, not like the 260, 270. He's been consistently shooting 230s, 240s. And I think that if he keeps doing that, he's just going to be smooth sailing for the rest of the day. And I personally would not mind it. As Matt Pearson is actually walking down, we're going to get a little quick interview with him. I want to hear especially what he has to say after shooting that 797. As we're going to get him in here.
Headphones on. Nice to have
Put
you
the
in the
headphones
booth, Mr.
on.
Pearson.
Matt Pearson, nice to have you in here.
Thanks.
We were watching you. 797.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that first shot in the 10th? It looked good from over here.
I might have got a little wide, a little fast. It came in a little behind the head pin. I'll take it though.
With shooting a 797, how do you feel like these next 3 games are? Because we heard that you're playing about 22 to 11. Do you feel like you're gonna be lofting anytime soon?
No, I might have to switch a ball when we come down to 29 and 30 because they're inside already. So
Yeah.
I want to see what this game goes, and I might switch in a 10th to see how the ball reaction goes.
All right. Well, Matt, congratulations on that 797. We'll see you when you come down here on lanes 29 and 30.
All right, see you.
As Landon Richards, as you saw there on lane 30, converting his spare. A strike here will give him a 128 as Tim Grundler up on lane 28 does complete the 279 game. So we had a 250, 240, another 250, 270. Big games being put up. As we take a look down here at the lower end on our featured pair, Michaela Douglas, as you see who's up on the lane right now. Casey Gotel, who is in the blue, she was the first female to win an MJT. She was also the winner of the handicap division at Kingpin Lanes. Coming up on the left of her is Isaiah Smith, who is currently sitting 4th after the 2 games in the handicap division. As you can kind of see on the far right, Mick Eaton going for the 2-8. He will also be caught on our feature pair. Down here at the lower end, Tim Grundler is going to be on our featured pair. Dan Hillary will also be on this pair. A lot of big names, a lot of big people who can put some scores up. So expect a big game 4 here.
Oh yeah, and with our high friction creating some trouble for some of these bowlers. Don't be surprised if somebody who's struggling, or as you follow our ticker on top, may have been lower in the standings to make a large jump. We have Tim Grundler, who just put up a 279 after struggling for a little while, and Riley Smith.
He was currently 16th place before that 279 game.
Oh yeah. So keep in mind that some of these bowlers are trying to bounce back, and with what's out there, it is very doable.
It is very doable. As we're going to jump you back down to the lower end since they're down there getting the action going. As you say, Mick Eaton right there.
And he's trying to keep things going after that 280 and needs to figure out something on this new pair.
Indeed. Here's Casey Gotel. Coming high, leaving the 9, but it didn't look like she liked it at all. It's Michaela Douglas taking off the 4 pin off the 410.
Mick Eaton will look to run in this 4 pin.
Saw a little bit farther down on that screen, Ben Pallady blowing a 9 pin. Maybe you should. I'm gonna say it's the rack.
Yeah, St. Charles is known for pretty good carry, but at the same time, it's that super strong down lane reaction does lean itself to some blower 8s, some blower 9s, and a lot of blower 7s actually. So
it's just this is pretty much a house where you're gonna leave something in the back row, no matter what you do.
Yeah, I mean. They give you so many strikes, though. You almost can't complain when you leave that unfortunate 8-pin.
You know, I look at this house. It's like, yeah, it's St. Charles Lane, but you can also call it strike and spare.
Or you could just leave the spare part off.
Strike and strike. As it looks like our lower end here is about to get started. As it looks like there's a. Looks like something's going on. Ricky Masco's holding them back.
Yeah, there were some issues on lane 30 with the rack, so I don't know if he's going to try to get it fixed in the back or.
We'll figure out what's going on as Ricky's approaching. That's indeed 29 and lane 30 are out of play now with the rack on lane 30 acting up how it is. So they're going to jump on the lanes 31 and 32. Now, this is where it's going to be interesting because I'm going to see if I can find those notes after game 1. That's game 2. And here we go. Game 1 standings. Where are we at? Tim Grundler shot 174. And Dan Hillary shot 225. Trying to see who was all on there. Cody Altridge shot 189. And I'm trying to think. Where's the other one? I'm having a hard time finding him. Well, we'll see what happens when we get to that situation. So we're going to leave the camera. It's going to be interesting. We're going to try to move this camera here. So we're going to bring it back down to the lower end.
And before we switched over there, you saw Brad Sislevich throw a fantastic strike on lane 28. And moving to the fresh pair, lane 31 and 32, will be interesting because, as many of you just heard in our interview with current tournament leader Matthew Pearson, I believe in the next game or two he is about to jump down to that fresh pair, so he may be very happy to hear that. I think
he's going to be very happy to hear that. As Dan Hillary coming up here on lane 31 now. Ball coming high, leaving the 3 pin. As Sean Bybee on lane 28, coming high, leaving a 4.
And Joey, what goes through your head mentally when you're jumping from a pair who, you know, you've been following a transition and you're not necessarily paying attention to where you were, you're all focused forward, and now you jump to that fresh pair of lanes?
For me, it's I always go back to what I did my first game. If I shot something big, I'm going to try to go back to, if I made a ball change, go back to it, get back to where I started off on the fresh, and see if I can pull out whatever I did my first game or better. It's just all about getting that mind focus that I need to get right, and I need to just make a good shot and not focused on, oh, am I going to make a bad shot, or is this going to really mess up my game? Tim Grundler coming up on lane 31. Shot 279 his last game. Looking to continue the high scores.
Throws a
Gets
wicked messenger.
Gets a nice kick out of that. As you see, Isaiah Smith up on lane 22. As Casey Gotel is going to be coming up on lane 23. It looks like she's going to be throwing an eruption. As Isaiah gets all 10 in the back. As Mick Eaton is going to be coming up right next to Casey Gotel. Here's Riley Smith to the left of her. Leaves the 10 pin. Can't get the messenger out as Casey leaves the 3-6-10. As Mick Eaton, who goes open, spare, 3 in a row now. So he's working on 4.
Yeah, he was looking like he had some early transition problems on that lane, but seems to have figured it out. Let's see if he can continue.
And indeed he has. We jump back down here to the lower end.
Down here on 32, looking for Tim Grundler to strike. He has told me that if he does, and he did, he'll give me a little bit of...
Tim Grundler puts up a double to start off the game, so technically he's got 13 in a row.
What do they? That's the Vero Papa 300 plus 1.
Indeed, or as I like to say, it's just a baker's dozen.
Dakota Aldridge gets one of those swisher strikes we were talking about.
As you see, Brad Sislevich there on lane 28, trying to get back into things with struggling a little bit. As he gets a double, he puts a strike up on the board, going double 7-2 strike. As Dan Hillary not liking that, leaving the 1-8. As you saw over on lane 27, Blaze Beckman leaving the 1-5-8-9. So we're going to jump down here to the lower end. Michaela Douglas converts to spare. As Mick Eaton coming back up, looking to get 5 in a row now to get back on that string and continue these high-scoring numbers that he's putting up.
Down here on 31, Dan picked the very awkward 1-8.
All right, we are handed scores. As this is really pretty amazing. But like we said, Matt Pearson, 797. He's currently in first. Second place is Ben Pallardy at 744. Third place, Mick Eaton at 725. Dan Hillary sitting fourth at 724. Jason Robarg tied with him sitting fourth at 724. Sixth place is Riley Smith at 682. Seventh place is Armando Godoy at 679. And rounding out eighth place at plus 70 is Ronnie Fujita. Currently ninth place, Tim Grundler, 645. Ben Houston Johnson's in 10th at 633. Ryan Patterson is in 11th at 602. And the last person plus is Sean Bybee, 601. Right behind him, Kyle Sherman at 592. As we jump over to the handicap division, first place still is Casey Gotel with a total of 637. In second place is Mason Yinger at 628. Hunter Reichert is in third at 624. And in fourth place is Derek Williams at 620. Fifth place is Blaze Beckman at 612. And fifth place is Blaze Beckman at 612. Mark Karsten is in sixth place at 607. last month's winner, Landon Richards, currently sitting 7th at 598. As we jump back down here to the lower end, Tim Grundler working on that off that 8 count. Indeed gets the strike. Now, Brendan, I know you bowled here. 31 and 32. Do you think there's a difference from how that pair plays compared to all the other lanes 29, 30, 20, pretty much playing the wall?
I'm not sure if there's actually anything out there, but from personal experience, I've bowled several tournaments in this house, and I always seem to score better at that end of the house.
Really?
I don't know why, but
I feel like when I bowl on the end, I feel like 31 and 32 are a tad bit more dry. You're able to get a little bit more left compared to where you would usually be.
Yeah, and I'm a lot like you. I'm a relatively straighter player, so when I can just, I don't have to worry about trying to slow it down to get a reaction. That's when I tend to score my best.
Indeed. As you see in the left there, Sean Bybee converting the spare. Goes 2 9 spares, double, and another 9 spare. As Dan Hillary gets back on it by putting up a double in the 5th. Jumping down to the lower end here, Casey Gotel. Not really liking that. It looked like she fouled maybe since the bucket got removed. So I'm guessing that she put a foul up on the board.
I have seen a handful of fouls, and it's always an unfortunate thing, especially
Indeed.
when you throw the best shot you can and then it didn't count.
Mick Eaton, after going the 4 in a row or 5 in a row, goes 9 spare and now has a double going into the 10th. So he's looking to put up another big score. As right now we are going to be updating the tickers for you guys, so you'll be able to see what's all going on. As you see, Matt Pearson 797 after 3. Ben Pallery 744. Right off the bat, 5 guys are at plus 100.
Yeah,
insane.
I was taking a look at that, but let's take a look at who the 5 guys are though. We've got Matthew Pearson, won a college event this year. Ben Pallery, won a college event this year. Mick Eaton, back in high school, he came in second at the Teen Masters Championships.
Indeed.
Dan Hillary, who is a collegiate bowler for Linwood here, and Jason Robarge, who is a collegiate caliber bowler here at Linwood. Very familiar with the lane service. And when all those things get put together, you get scores like this out of these talented bowlers.
That's just really impressive. And then sitting 6th is Riley Smith, and he's only 82 over. Only.
Yeah, he's struggling, guys. He's not quite averaging that 230 a game. I'm sure Riley will just have to sit down and give himself a little pep talk.
As we're looking down here at the end, Dan Hillary leaving the 710.
Pocket 710, yeah.
That's looking like it might hurt him a little bit right now with the 104 in the 6. Could possibly punch out for a 224 if he does. As Tim Grundler looking to get right back where he finished off right now with a double, 8 spare, and a double going into the 6. So that'd be nice to see him go back-to-back 270s.
Yeah, and Dakota Aldridge there on lane 31 gets away with a little swisher for a turkey, and he's trying to do just what some of our other bowlers have done today. Struggling a little bit, sitting in 17th, but if he punches out here, could shoot 279 and get himself back in it.
Right back into it. That's one game can change a lot, especially with the second half starting. Jumping down here to the low end, Mick Eaton going 9 spare in his first frame in the 10th, so he's going to try to finish off, and it looks like he's going to shoot another 200 game. Hard to really see what the score is with sitting down here. And here comes Mick's last shot as he goes 10 in the pit.
Casey Gotel will try to match that very feat just now.
Is it definitely rolled early, kicking the 6-pin forward.
Nice shot, Madam Turk. I mean, go tell.
Go tell. As we jump down here to the low end, Tim Grunler coming up light, leaving the 2-4. As Brad Slevich on the left side puts up a strike, giving him a 143 in the 7th. Right below him right now, Sean Bybee, working into the 8th frame, has a double. Could punch out for a 258 game. Currently, Sean is sitting in 12th at 601. He's currently 69 pins behind Ronnie Fujita, who is sitting in 8th place. Tim Grunler converts a spare, and Sean Bybee goes 10 back. This is I think we might have an interesting finish here for that last spot.
Yeah, I'm almost finding it hard to decide who I want to point out as striking, because you find one, and right as you're about to say it, there's another one over here and another one over here, and
it's interesting. It's almost like what you're saying. Someone's got to run. It's like, okay, once they get off, it's like, oh, maybe there's no one else. But then you look down 2 pairs, and someone's got like a 270 or 260 game going,
which is fantastic to see, because it doesn't matter where you are unless you're, unless Matt Pearson leaves the tournament, he's probably okay. But there's a big mixture. The scores are high, but you've only got 60 pins between 70 pins between 2nd and 8th, and with these guys shooting 279, that's a jump from the bottom of the cut to near the top.
Indeed it is.
And we have 2.5 games to go.
2.5. Brad Slevich in front of us. Coming high, as we're going to bring you back down to the high end here, since low end's pretty much finished up in the live pair. Landon Richards on the left side, living the 1-2-4. And Tim Grunler missing a 3-pin.
Not what he wants to do right now.
That's going to give him a 163 in the 8th. He can possibly punch out for a 123 if he does. Altridge, though, who's coming up, working on that 4 in a row as he comes up in the 8th.
The spiky-haired, salmon-colored shirt youngster will attempt to strike on lane 31. Looks like he likes it.
Oh.
And drops the nickel, folks.
I'm trying to think of the whole gravy train biscuit ride from Kingpin.
I actually gave Dakota a ride here to the tournament, so I informed him just recently that he would need to bowl a little better.
If not, you're walking home. Sean Bybee coming high.
Trips out.
The 4-6-7.
All on purpose, folks. That is how you drop a 4-bagger.
That gives him 4 in a row going into the 10th for the possible 258 game. Dan Hillary on lane 9 coming just a tad high, leaving the 4-pin. And Brad Slevich goes 10 back, and that's going to give him a 193 right now. As there's really no action going down on the low end, so we're going to just keep you on this featured pair right now, just to see what all going to happen. See Slevich coming up in his second shot in the 10th as he gets 10 back. That puts him at 203, so a possible 213 if he strikes out.
Down lane 31, Dan runs in that 4-pin, no problem. Unfortunately, if he punches out this game, it is going to lessen his pace, but he should still be okay. Was sitting in, I believe, 4th place going into this game, so if he can grind it at 200, that should still put him in decent contention.
That should still keep him in the top 8. As you saw, Cody Altridge there leaving a 7-pin.
Yeah, off his hands, you knew it was a little left, but a decently thrown ball, and unfortunately it did not continue the string for him. However, Tim Grunler hastily steps up to lane 31 and quickly shows young Dakota how you're supposed to strike.
I think the reason why Tim Grunler is striking is because of that hair.
Oh, it's
that hair is just so gorgeous.
We may have to have him come up on an interview and talk about what kind of hair products he uses to get it to look just that fantastic.
As you see, Sean Bybee over on 28 gets another one. That's 5 in the row with the first shot in the 10th.
That one was a little bit more decisive.
So, if, like we said, if he strikes here, that's going to at least give him, well, if he doesn't strike, he's going to shoot 240. Strike will give him the 250 game.
And he wants every pin right now.
Indeed, he does.
Dan throws the ball and turns away, leaving the 2-8, unfortunately. Sean on 28. Likes it.
Oh, gets the 5-7 out.
Smacks out the 5-7.
Gives him 6 in a row going into the last shot into the 10th. Here comes Dan Hillary on lane 32. As Dan Hillary easily converts the 8 spare, but it's going to punch him out for if he strikes a 191. And Dan might be a little disappointed, but 190 still not that bad, as there's not really that many big scores being put up. As Sean Bybee finishes off with a back 7.
Troy
That
Lamar
gives
finishes off with a nice turkey down there in lane 31.
Sean goes 258 as a Lamar Troy. No, Troy Lamar. I missaid that backwards. Finishes off with a 191 game. As you see Altridge coming up here in the 10th.
Wants it, folks.
Indeed gets the first one that gives him a 228 in the 9th. Possible 258 if he punches out.
Tim Gridlin looks to match the feet, and he does as well on lane 32. He is looking to rebound from a missed single pin 2 frames ago and strike out for a possible 223.
So he's going to puts up the double. Leeds gets him in the 200 area. But that 223, definitely he'll take after that 9, after missing that 3 pin. As here comes Altridge for the 11th.
A little outside, and he loves it.
Still beautiful shot. So it looks like Jason Robark down there is putting up another decent run.
Tim strikes as well.
So he's at a 213 right now. 7 will give him the 220. It's Cody Altridge here. Strike here will get him 258.
And he needs it. That will still put him -1, so.
But it'll jump him from the bottom of the pack up to the top.
And we've never seen that happen, have we, folks?
I don't think we have. Especially, I should say, this late into it. Because if so, then we can say, well, we've seen Riley jump from second to last into the top 8. As Tim Grundler finishes off 223, Cody Altridge 258. Some big scores being put up.
Folks, all that does is remind us to never give up.
Never give up.
You're not out until all the scores are submitted and yours is below the number it needs to be. Until then, you get every pin you can.
You just saw Madison Yinger strike down there. As we're still waiting for the main feature pair on 21 and 22 to get going. We're going to be focusing more on the right side as Austin Easley currently coming up. As Ben Pallardy to the left of our live stream, as you can see, continuing where he left off, striking.
Solid shot by Austin Easley. Stones a 7 pin there. He's going to look to run this in while Casey Gotel steps up right next to him, looking for a strike of her own. And goes a little light, leaving a 2 pin. We'll bring it back up to the top of the house, and we catch the end of the strike by Austin Audie there. as bowlers are moving around to their next lane selection.
Jumping back down, Austin Easley looking for the 7-pin and easily converts it. To the left coming up is Kyle Sherman. Sherman, one of the top bowlers collegiately in the top 10, but struggling today. As you see, leaving the 4-pin, but struggling today after the 3rd game. He's currently sitting in 13th place at 592, so he's got a lot of ground to make up these last couple of games. As there's Isaiah Smith coming a little high, but trips out the 4-7-10. I love when I get carried like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it always comes back to get you at some point. You know, you do that in frame 1 or 2, and then 7 or 8, you finally got something going, and you stone an 8-pin. It always seems to even out in the long run.
Indeed. As you see,
Madison Yinger steps up.
Madison Yinger and Casey Gotel right now are the top 2 people in the handicap division bowling on the same pair. So this is going to be interesting once we get scores updated, because currently there was a 9-pin difference after the 3rd game. And this could be, depending on what all happens, possibly a new first place leader, but expect both of those girls to advance.
Could be a preview of our final match, folks.
Indeed, it could. It could be a preview. Madison going to convert the 3-6-10 and easily does. It's Casey Gotel looking for the 1-2-3-4-5.
Yeah, she just kind of dropped the one off her hand, but spare here won't hurt too much, and even that one is still a little outside. Managed to get 3 of them.
So here's Austin Easley. Ball looking a little high. Indeed it is, leaving the 4-7. In front of us right now, down on the low end, is Troy Lamar. Shot the 191 his last game. Coming in a little high, leaving the 2-pin, as Austin Auden converts the 1-2.
Madeline Yinger at it again, and
Oh,
stones a 7-pin.
smashed the 7-pin.
Yeah, very, very nice shot.
All right, coming down here as we take a look at who's on our feature pair. Ronnie Fujita is there.
Current tournament leader, Matthew Pearson.
And Sean Bybee will also be on this featured pair.
So if I take a look at it, we have Ronnie, who after the 3rd game was sitting at the cut, and then we had Mr. Pearson, who was just a little over that number, and then we had Sean Bybee, who was struggling plus 1 or 2, and then puts up a nice 250 game of his own to give himself a chance. So a lot of drama down there in the 31 and 32.
And coming down on the low end, big interesting pair. Mick Eaton's going to be on the featured pair with Kyle Sherman and Ben Pallardy. So we're going to have some big numbers, especially this game on that pair. Actually, I think both of our featured pairs will have some big games with the tournament leader, the guy who's in 2nd, a Team USA member, someone who's trying to get back into it too, Sean Bybee.
Joey, you're getting me excited to see the cut to top 8, my friend. I almost can barely contain myself.
We're actually going to pull into the booth. Our producer just decided to show up, Matt Turek. I'd like to bring you in.
How you doing?
So we made predictions in the
I
beginning.
just walked in the door. What? I don't even know who's bowling.
Well, right now, Matt Pearson's at first with 797.
Oh, wow. After 3?
After 3.
On what pattern?
This is the 2014 USBC singles doubles pattern.
Holy cow.
Is it that or the team?
I believe today is team, tomorrow
Today's
is singles
team,
doubles.
tomorrow's singles
So
doubles.
if anyone out there in Reno is looking for a sub, I hear Matthew Pearson really enjoys this pattern.
But yeah, we made predictions of what the cut is. Right now, it's currently 70 over after 3. I said after 6, the plus minus, like the plus to make cut was 94 over.
He's got a 53 pin lead. on Ben, and then Mick Eaton right there too, huh? And then tie for third or fourth and fifth.
Indeed. It's been a very interesting day. A lot of high scores. We had a 280, multiple 270s, 260s, 250. There's just a lot of them.
There's a lot of 640 or above. I mean, almost half the field.
Well,
640,
Ben
645.
Pallardy started
630.
off on 29 and 30 in front of us with the front nine.
Wow.
So we almost had a 300. We almost had an 800.
Yeah, and if you could take a look at some of the single breakdowns of those 640s,
Yeah.
you'd be interested to see there was a lot of like 220, 150, 270s. It was if you bowled bad,
So
like,
it wasn't
you bowled
just
bad.
240, 240, 220. It was a bad game and then
Yeah.
two pop games.
We had Riley Smith start the day with a 160 and bounce back with a 270. We had Mick Eaton bowl a 190 his first game, 280 2 games later. We had just now we had Dakota Aldridge on lane 31 shoot 540 his first three and then back up with a nice 260.
Wow.
It's literally just one game brings them right back into it.
Well, that's awesome. That's good to hear. High scores on this challenging pattern.
Indeed, as you see
Did not expect that.
as you see in front of us, Kyle Sherman looking to get this 5th game started, trying to get himself back into it. So he goes 10 back as Ben Pallardy currently sitting 2nd. Leaves the 10 pin. We're going to bring you down to the low end. Tournament leader, Matt Pearson, coming up on lane 31. As you saw Cody Altridge there leaving the 10 pin. As this one definitely coming high. Was it the 3, 4, 6, 7?
Not the way we wanted to start it, but if you're going to leave it there. And
As there's Brad Sislevich converting his 7 count.
Matt's a high enough caliber player that I think he will have no problem
I believe so.
switching and making the correct move on this pattern.
Looking for the spare. Only taking 2 off. There's Austin Audie coming up over on the left side on lane 28. Currently has a 68 in the 4th. And gets a strike in the 5th.
He likes it.
Indeed.
Catch a nice strike on your left side of the screen there by Mr. Lamar. And then stepping up here on lane 31, we have the Ronnie Big Jam Puhita.
Definitely playing it tight. As here comes Sean Bybee. Struggled the first 3 as we're here in game 5. It's going to be interesting with especially playing on a fresh lane now, how he's going to make that transition. Coming high, leaving the 4-9.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot today. That high friction, you know, he was trying to make the guess about how the fresher pattern would play. Might have moved too far right, and now he's staring at the 4-9.
Brad Sislevich on lane 31 gets the strike. Mick Eden down in the lower end. Goes 10 in the pit. And Austin easily converts the 1-3.
He easily converts it.
Easily. Very easily for easily. I just caught on what you did there. Get a shot of Ben Pallardy here. Coming up on lane 22. And that one doesn't really read, leaving the 2, 4, 10. Bringing it back down, Sean Bybee strikes after opening. Matt Pearson looking to get right back on it. And he goes 10 back.
That one looked a lot better. I think moved a little bit further left. Right in his wheelhouse. Says he should have never moved, folks. Should have never moved. But now he knows, and We'll see how many strikes he can put up in this game 5.
Game 5. I'm expecting him to put 10 more after that.
Oh, I want to see 279.
If he puts up a 279, we'll find out what he shot his last game. We don't know what he shot game 4, but it's probably up there.
It's like $120. It's probably like $120.
Oh, well, $120.
No, something tells me it was a little higher.
I'm hoping so. As we did pull away, Ronnie Fujita does strike on lane 32, giving him a double to start off this game. Mick Eaton down on the end, coming tight, but still gets all 10 in the pit. As Casey Gotel currently sitting first after game 3 in the handicap division, coming in light, leaving the 3-pin.
Ben Houston Johnston.
He also comes light, leaving the 2-pin. Stepping up is Kyle Sherman. Sherman, still looking to get back on it.
Nice shot down on 31 by Matthew Pearson.
As Sherman leaves an 8-pin. As here we go, we are handed standings, and we're going to bring it back down to the low end. Matt Pearson, I believe, went 230 something because he is now at a total for 4 games of 1034. That is your tournament leader right now. Second place is Jason Robarg at 969. Third place is Ben Pallardy, 968. Fourth place is Mick Eaton at 952. Fifth place is Dan Hillary, 914. Riley Smith is sitting 6th at 910. Seventh place is Ronnie Fujita at 881. And right now in 8th place at plus 68 is Tim Grundler. Right now Armando is right behind him in 9th at 862. Sean Bivey currently 10th at 859. Ryan Patterson's in 11th at 830. Kyle Sherman is 12th at 820. And the last person to go plus is Ben Houston Johnson in the 13th at 809. Cody Aldridge, who you saw in front of us shoot the big game, currently 15th at 799. Jumping over to the handicap division, definitely a huge change in the standings. Hunter Rychet is currently first at 877. Derek Williams is in second at 845. Casey Gotel is sitting third right now at 841, and rounding out in the top 4 is Mark Karsten at 820. Blaze Beckman right now is at 818, 2 pins behind. Isaiah Smith is currently 6th, 3 pins back at 817, and Madison Yinger is currently 7th at 804.
These scores will be coming up on our fantastic ticker in just a few moments, folks.
Still, 1032 for 4. 1032. That is huge.
Yeah, I did the quick math. He shot 235 that last game, and unfortunately that's about 40 pins under his average at this point in the day.
That is insane.
Austin easily steps up here. One of the few left-handers in the field today. Looking to continue his climb into the handicap field, and it's a little bit wide. Didn't quite get back to the head pin. Looking at the 1, 2, 6. I believe the 9 is also still in there. Sean will look to run the single pin in along with Austin Audi on 31 and 28 respectively. Brad Sislevich will step up on 32. He seems to be playing relatively hard and straight, and I really hope he doesn't leave something because I'm going to feel awful if he does.
As you see, Matt Pearson right now on the 278 pace, and Ronnie Fujita starts off with the front 4. As Brad Sislevich coming a little high, leaving a 4-pin. Spare there will give him a 66 in the 4th. As here's Matt Pearson up on lane 31.
Looking to get 4 in a row.
And indeed he does. So 4 in a row for Matt Pearson through 5 as he's on a 278 pace. And here comes Sislevich Easily converts the 4-pin, as he now has the 66 in the 4th.
So, and here on 31, we have Ronnie stepping up with the first 4, playing hard and relatively tight, looking to attempt to make it the front 5. Ronnie is known for having a little bit of fun in the lane, so let's watch this shot, folks. But first, we're going to see Sean Bybee's attempt on 32, and he throws a beautiful strike. Here comes Ronnie. Looks really tight and
Coming high, leaving the 10-pin.
there on your left, you just saw Troy Lamar throw a wicked messenger over, kick the 7-pin out late. Ronnie runs in his 10-pin.
As right now we are getting our tickers updated for you guys. And there we go. Standings after game 4. Definitely need to be updated. So we're apologizing for that. We'll get that back to you as soon as we can. For now, we're going to jump down to the low end. We'll get the ticker off. Actually, we'll bring it back on just so you guys can see how they still are after game 3. Most bowlers down in the low end here, finishing up game 5. Trying to see. It's really hard to read, especially with the purple. Doesn't really look like there's that big of games being put up. The only big numbers are looking to be the ones down here in the higher end. As Ronnie Fajita's coming up after that 9 spare in the 5th. Looking to finish off this second half. Sneak his way into the top, keep his way into the top 8. And indeed gets the strike.
That looked much better.
Indeed it did.
Bradley will run in the 7.
Easily converts it. Here comes Sean Bybee. Currently, Sean is sitting 10th, just outside the top 10, 9 pins back, trying to put a double up here into the 6th frame.
There's Sean's pitch on 31, and hopefully
Coming high, leaving the 4-9 is. There's the 4-9 that we've been talking about.
yeah, and he did that in the first frame on this same pair, and you get something going, that 4-9 pops up, and sometimes you're lucky enough to kick it, but Brad Sislevich almost leaves one of his own on 32, and a 4-9 at the wrong time can just destroy a score.
As here comes Mick Eaton down on the lower end. Mick has been in the top half, pretty much in the top 8 all day, sitting 4th right now. Mick looking to get back on it.
And he
Indeed,
does
goes
so.
10 back.
Austin easily delivers on the right side of your screen. On the left side, Kyle Sherman steps up to get things going as he watches Austin easily throw a strike of his own.
Kyle Sherman goes 10 back. As right now we have the lower end in front of us, but right now we're getting our the ticketers updated, so we'll be getting those to you.
And there is Ben Pallardy.
As there we go, scores are finally up to date. As you see, 1032 is leading the tournament.
Jason Robars has jumped into second place.
As Pearson goes the 5 in a row, going the 9 spare. So he's got a possible 250 still left in his game.
And you just witnessed Matthew Pearson get a rare spare on lane 31, and it's rare not because he is not good at spares. It's rare because
He's been
he hasn't
striking all
often not
day.
struck today.
Here comes Ronnie and Vegeta looking to put up a double here in the 7th frame on a 279 pace. Shot coming a little light, still trips it. So he puts up a double.
I am sure he will take it.
Looking down at the lower end, Ben Pallardy converts his 9 spare. As Mick Eaton comes up. Looking to put keep that run going he's got. As you saw there, that was Madison Yinger gets a strike as Isaiah Smith coming a little late, not getting the carry. Mick Eaton, though, leaving the 10 pin. As Kyle Sherman looking to get back up and continue the run that he has of a couple in a row. As here comes Kyle's shot. Whoa, gets the swisher, kicks out the 8 pin. Gives him a little bit of a run. Here's Casey Gotel. And she goes 10 back. Brad Slevich easily converting his single pin spare. Gives him a 123 now in the 7th with a 9 spare in the 8th.
Sean, about to step on 31, is on the outside looking to get into that top 8. Ronnie is hanging on to that 8th spot, and both of them are trying to continue in pursuit of our cut coming up here in just over a game.
As Vegeta puts another strike in the 8th, still on the 279 pace as Pearson before him goes 10 in the pit as he's on a 257 pace. So some big numbers that can be put up here on this low end. And I definitely think if you can score on this fresh oil, it's going to be an advantage when you get on this pair. It's going to be. I'm wondering who's going to be the last people to touch this lane and how well they played actually on the fresh.
Yeah, I will have to ask as they walk by how much different this was than what they thought it was going to be into a transition to a lane that was in use all day. But honestly, it's just taking good shots out there, and there's plenty of them going around.
As you saw, Sean Bybee right there converting the 10 pin, which will put him right now at a 125 in the 7th. Possible 205 if he punches out. Matt Pearson here looking to go for a double in the 9th.
Gets all of that one.
My God, I wish I could throw the ball like that.
Sean will step up on 32, attempting to finish out this game with a string in pursuit of that top 8.
As Ronnie Vegeta, on the other hand, looking to keep his 270 game pace going.
A much better shot there by Sean. Hopefully it continues as we now move our attention to Mr. Ronnie on 31, looking for a strike of his own.
And he indeed gets it again. So now he's on 4 in a row going into the 10th.
I would not be surprised if we saw another 279.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I'm kind of interested. I wonder how many 270 games we've actually shot today.
At least, are we talking like in the 270s or 270 or higher?
270 higher, I should say.
Because I know we had Ben Pallardy's 278, we had McEaton's 280. There's probably another one out there, but hopefully Ronnie will put up yet another one in just a few moments, as first we see Matthew Pearson in pursuit of his own high score, leaving the bucket on lane 32, and Brad Slevich looking to run in another single pin on 31.
As Brad easily converts that single pin. Strike here will give him a 183 to finish off his game. Pearson looking to convert the 7 count.
Not a problem there. All three go down instantly as Pearson will shoot the lowest game of the day for him at 234.
Well, missed by a couple pins of that last game he shot.
I don't know which is more impressive, the fact that if he shoots another 230, his high set is going to be 790, or that his low set's going to be 690.
That would be interesting. What was his last game? 230 what?
235, and follows that up here with a nice 234.
So if he does another like 230 plus, he just needs to go 232 and he's got another 700. So let's look at that. He's at 1032. Add 232. He's now at 1266.
And Sean kicks out the 710, posting a shot as he walks back, attempting to go positive this game.
Definitely needs the next one to get that pluses. Here's Fujita for the 270. And that one coming high in the first shot in the 10th.
And he'll look to just run in that 4-pin and take a 250. And he was just on that border, but a game like that, and as long as he doesn't implode, he should be advancing to a round of 8.
Well, there's still a lot that can happen, I'm thinking, this last game. So anything can happen, but with going from plus 60 to shooting at 250, that jumps you into the plus 100 mark. So that should bump you a little up, but from what the scores are looking, he's probably going to be sitting maybe 6th just because of how insanely high these scores are.
And you know, we have several bowlers battling out for those last couple of spots, going back and forth between 6th and down into the 11th and 12th and 13th spots. And you know, the lucky winner of that 8th spot is going to get the grand prize of bowling Matthew Pearson in the first round of the match play.
Well, we've had it to where every person who is qualified as the number 1 seed has lost. Wait, I take that back. No, because Ryan Patterson won it, but mostly before Mick shot 1,400 and lost. Ryan Patterson almost lost last month at Frontier, but was able to hold out. As you saw there, Sean Bybee finishes with a 204, and Ryan Fujita stepping up in the 10th, coming up light, leaving the 2-pin. As he shoots a 257.
And folks, I believe Ronnie's bazooka was broken as he does not quite strike there. He will need to get his machinery checked out.
Must be a faulty machine. As both feature pairs right now are wrapping up. We're going to leave it down here at the lower end as we got some of the bowlers down there. As you saw, Landon Richards leaving the 10-pin. But as for right now, we'll bring it back to the booth cam. As I'm Joey, this is Brandon Pick. We are live at St. Charles Lanes. The bowlers are going to be entering their 6th game as they are bowling on the 2014 the Reno pattern for the team event. And I'm just saying, anyone that's watching this that is looking to pick up someone for a team, Matt Pearson is considered an adult. If I was going to Reno, I'd definitely pick him up on my team. But as of right now, scores are really high. The plus to make cut is at 62 over. So our predictions looking close, but scores definitely really jumped after that last game. As we're definitely making sure that our scores here, 68 over is the plus right now, 8th place. We don't know how all the scores were in Game 5. Do you think the possibility of us being close to the plus-minus is now in reach?
Yeah, as we see that high friction creating a couple of splits, and we've seen, the guys who are on top really haven't had that downfall game, but, once you mix between 6th and down through 12th there, you just have that one game that really kind of hurts your overall score there. So while the higher scores, I believe, will continue to go up, I would not be surprised if the overall cut score doesn't increase by that much. I still think it'll be probably closer to the 90s, but, the window we provided at the beginning of the day actually might turn out to be a little bit better than we had previously thought.
I believe so. I'm just hoping that if this lands on plus 94, I will be very happy because, one, that would be the first time I get it actually on the nose, but plus that makes me go back-to-back winners. Kyle Sherman coming up on lane 23.
And, you know, for any of those bowlers watching, we would absolutely love to have you come out and bowl our events. I know I've got a couple of bowlers back home over at Lindenwood University, Belleville, that they need to come up. They need to bowl the event because I like having you guys around, and I know you can score.
How many people from Belleville actually bowl this? I know with Tim.
Yeah, Tim Hyman's bowled a few. I'm hoping that a couple of them will come out tomorrow at our event tomorrow. But a lot of them have been, they interflicted with one of the tournaments, one of the weekends, and I don't know what's going on. Maybe they're just nervous.
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
Maybe, who knows. As you see, Kyle Sherman's on one of our feature pair. Ben Pallardy's right next to him. Austin Easley in front of you in the blue, who's walking up. And to the left of him is Madison Yinger, who's been bouncing around lately in the top. Coming down to the lower end here, Donald Lee, the lefty from Panama. Austin Audie is also in there. And then I believe that it is, where is he? Hunter Reichett, the leader right now in the handicap division, will currently be bowling. Over on the lane 28, or to the left, we have Derek Williams. Ronnie Fajita is also down on there. And Matt Pearson is also bowling on lane 27 and 28. So, some top bowlers up in the standings. Down here on the lower end, bowling on the feature pair. As Austin Audie goes 2 in a row. Here's Armando Godoy. Currently, he is sitting 9th, 6 pins back after game 4.
I'm not sure what he put up that game 5, but he may need just a little bit of a score to hop into that top 8. That's what our bowlers out here are trying to do. They're trying to get into the top 8 for scratch and the top 4 for handicap. The 4 for handicap will be seated directly into a stepladder, while the top 8 will go into a specialized best of 2 game total pinfall 1v8, 2v7, so on and so forth bracket.
Here's Ben Houston Johnson playing in with the eruption, leaving the 10 pin. He's going to bring it back down here to the lower end. Donald Lee converts his 9 spare, and here's Ronnie Fajita up on the left lane. Easily gets the strike. Gets a 40 now after the second, as Matt Pearson starts off this last game with the front 3. Austin Audie coming up a little light, leaving the 2-8. So after the front 2, jump down here. Ben Pallardy coming up, currently in the top 3.
And he won our last event out of the 3 spot, so maybe he is trying to do the exact same thing again.
That'd be nice. He currently, right now, he looks like he has a chance. Landon Richards is still in contention. He's in 9th at 783, as the cut right now is 820. So he's less than 40 back. So a lot can happen in that time period.
This is our last game here at the MJT, coming to you from St. Charles Lanes, and the bowlers here will want to get every pin they can before we cut to the next round.
So you jump down to the higher end. Here's Austin Audie on lane 32. Gets it coming up, gets the swisher. As over on lane 27, you'll be able to catch in the corner here the last pair that you can kind of see with the approach. Matt Pearson will be approaching, working on 3 in a row. As Hunter Reichert on lane 32, coming a little light, leaving the 5-8 as Matt Pearson goes front 4.
Matthew Pearson has made another ball change.
I'm not really surprised. I think he went to something a little bit less aggressive from going with a pattern they had, heavy, a little bit more oil to getting back out to that friction.
Yeah, and now that you say that, that particular transition might have been harder than the transition from the dryer to the fresh, from going from the fresh back to...
I think it would probably be a bigger challenge for me too. Go from more oil, go from less oil to the heavy oil, right back to something that's a little bit more fried out.
Yeah, although at this point, the pattern seems to be holding up relatively well, and on 31 and 32, they don't really seem that much different.
As you see Austin Easley right in front of us, he's currently sitting 8th place at 791, so he's only about 39 pins back. Still has a chance to jump into the top 4 in the handicap division. As Blaze Beckman, as you see saw walking back, he's currently 5th, 2 pins behind Mark Karsten, who is right now the 4th place spot in the handicap division. As you see on the live stream, it's handicaps across the board. Landon Richard, who's in the orange. Madison Yinger, who's up just to the left, who goes 10 in the pit. And Austin Easley, who is looking to convert the 1-3. As he only gets the 1. Bringing it back down to the higher end. Hunter Rychet goes a little left, leaving the 1, 2, 3, 5, 10. Austin Audie, after that 9 spare. Going high, leaving the big 4. As Matt Pearson on the left. 5 in a row.
Dropping the nickel.
I want to know what his strike percentage is for today.
I'm thinking it's somewhere between 0 and a whole lot. Probably somewhere in that range.
0 and a whole lot. I've never heard that one before. As Austin doesn't get any, missing the big 4. As here's Ronnie Fujita up on lane 28, working off that 9 spare. As we are just handed standings, literally fresh off the printer. Currently first place is Matt Pearson at 1266. Second place, Mick Eaton at 1180. Third place is Ben Pallardy at 1173. Fourth place, Jason Robarg at 1160. Fifth place is Dan Hillary at 1138. Ronnie Fujita sitting 6th at 1138. Riley Smith is 7th at 1131. And currently 8th place at plus 85, Armando Godoy. 9th place is Kyle Sherman at 1079. Sean Bybee 11th, 1063. Ryan Patterson 11th at 1040. And Tim Grundler rounding out the top people who are plus at 1021. Jumping over to the handicap division, in first place is Blaze Beckman with a total of 1082. In second place is Hunter Rychet at 1065. Derek Williams currently sits third at 1058. And rounding out the top 4 is Casey Gotel with a total of 1035. And in fifth place, Austin Easley, currently 9 pins back of Casey Gotel. Now, Austin's been really having a struggling day, pretty much been in the bottom 3. Now has the possibility to jump into the top 4 and make the roll-off for the handicap division.
And there it is, just all about making those spares, trying not to give any pins away, and hopefully we see Austin Easley climb in to that spot he's looking for. But I'm sure the other 4 bowlers in that spot do not want to see that. And so
I would not be surprised as Matt Pearson up on lane 27 gets another one, and that is the front 6 for Matt Pearson.
We are halfway there, folks.
As we jump down to the lower end, Ben Houston Johnson looking to make a good shot, coming in a little light, leaving the 7 pin. And here's Austin Easley. As you see down there, Matt Turek taking photos. Well, since he is finally back, we are going to get our instant replays going when we get to the round of 8, and when we also get to the handicap roll-off.
I'm looking forward to those.
I definitely enjoy it. Get a closer view of what all happened or what we missed. When there's something going on, we usually have the camera there and definitely gets everything going. As we're going to bring you right back down to the low end. As you see, Donald Lee up on lane 31. But the reason why we're bringing it back down is Matt Pearson, who's coming up on lane 28, who currently has the front 6. That
Looking to
one look
make
a
it.
little light, and he still gets it.
The front
So
7
the front 7 for Matt Pearson.
kicking the 5-pin to the right wall. It's a little bit of Dick Weber-esque shotness there.
And indeed, there's still that possibility. As Donald Lee converts the 8 spare. As Ronnie Fajita
Making
over
a
on
ball change.
28 does make a ball change to the Mastermind Genius. Kicks out the 7-pin a little bit late. And puts up a double. Austin Audie throws a good shot, but just can't get the 10-pin out. So right now he's got a 130 in the 7th. The spare here will give him a possible 200 on the nose.
Casey Gotel just threw a wicked messenger. Looked like she was going to leave a 4-pin, and something just comes bouncing across the deck to knock it out.
As right now we are getting our tickers updated.
While we're doing that, Matthew Pearson is stepping up on lane 27 in hopes of reaching the 2/3 point.
As the tickers are updated, and Pearson on lane 27 leaving the 10-pin on the front 7. So he's got a possible 279 game still left. Jumping down to the lower end, Ben Houston Johnson gets the strike, and he right now currently sits 15th at, what is that, 19 under. Here's Austin Easley currently sitting 5th. Coming a little high, leaving the 6-pin for him as Ben Pallardy converts the 10-pin.
Tony
Lane.
Resnick is there on the left side of your screen. He's looking for a strike of his own.
Indeed he does. But Austin Easley right now definitely has a chance to get back in it. He has a chance to jump past Casey Gotel, who just threw a beautiful shot and struck. As here comes Donald Lee up on lane 31. Donald Lee looking to convert the 310. As doesn't get any of them. So we jump down to the lower end. Ronnie Fajita just put 3 in a row up. Here's Kyle Sherman. Mick Eden goes 10 back. And Kyle Sherman strikes. Now Kyle is only 6 pins back of Armando, who is currently sitting 8th at the cut. As Armando strikes, this is going to be interesting because they're both right next to each other. If you're in the situation where you know you have a chance to get back into it and you make that move, do you try to get into it?
Oh, I mean, you have to. At this point, you've been climbing up the ladder trying to get into that top 8. You can't just give it away playing too conservatively now. It's if you think it's time to make a move and it's kill it out there or be killed, you might as well make the move, because if it's not going to work, even if somehow you do squeak by, especially in this format, you're about to bowl another match, and if you don't make that move, you're not gonna know what to do.
As down here at the lower end, Ronnie Fajita leaving the 2-pin, coming in a little light. Spare here will give him 178 in the 8th, as Matt Pearson, on the other hand, strikes in the 9th to keep the 270 alive. Back down to the lower end, as we see Madison Yinger up on the left. She throws it a little high, leaving the 4-pin.
Kyle Sherman will then deliver on the right side of your screen, followed by Armando Godoy in the center. Those two are battling it out for the last spot in our round of 8, or so it seems, and they both delivered.
Strike. I'm kind of interested to see what's going on, but from the way it looks, Armando's got the front 6 or 7. No, I'm misreading that. He's got a 290 pace going right now.
That would certainly help. Just behind those two, we have Sean Bybee at 22 pins back from the cut, Ryan Patterson at 45 pins back from the cut, and Timothy Grundler at 59. So they all still have a chance.
As there's Ben Pallardy, who strikes. Matt Pearson gets the first one, so he's got gets a double. First one in the 10th. There's Austin Easley wraps a 7-pin.
Dakota Aldridge steps up here on 25, looking for a 279 of his own. And while it may be too little too late, he definitely just bowled one heck of a game.
From what I'm being told, Cody Altridge has a possible 279 if he strikes right here. He does. He had the front 8, 9, no, front 7, 9 spare, next 3 in a row. So a possible 279 for him, as Matt Pearson shoots 279. Matt Pearson shoots 1,500.
Well, he still has one more to go, but he just went through the face and tripped one out to go at least into the 270s.
So no matter what happens, Matt Pearson is going to shoot over 1,500 for 6 games on this pattern, as Cody Altridge does strike, finishing off with a 279.
Yeah, he struggled a little bit early today, and it's nice to see him bounce back. Maybe I'll give him a ride home.
As currently Cody was 14th, but from the way it looks, it might. It's hard to tell if it'll be enough. It could be close, though.
And talk about high scores. The final of the Cardinals game just popped up.
Oh, all right.
Cardinals 10, Cubs 4. But attention back to the bowling as we watch Ben Pallardy deliver a shot.
Yes, here's Austin Easley, who's coming up too. Who's currently, like we said, 9 pins behind Casey Gotel for the cut. As he leaves a 1-3-6-9. As Ronnie Fajita coming up on 27 leaves the 10 pin. So he's at least in the 200. And here's Ben Houston Johnson coming a little high, leaving the 4 pin. There's a big spare for Austin. This could possibly keep him in. He misses the 1-8.
He is unable to convert.
As your handicap leader, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong standings here. I believe I am. I don't know where our handicap standings went. Somewhere. Even though, well, I could just look at the ticker, but I believe Blaze Beckman is sitting first, as you saw. But here's Armando Godoy. And that's another one. He literally, ladies and gentlemen, is on a 290 pace. Going spare in the first frame and with the back 9 right now. So he got the first one in the 10th.
And going into that last game, Armando was sitting at our cut number at plus 85, but with him shooting 100 plus of his own, our predictions will surely be blown out of the water.
I believe so.
I was really kind of hoping that we could maybe, save face and be like, oh, hey, we were close. And
not anymore. As you see, Jason Robark down there at the end gets a strike, as Jason currently sitting 4th, as he looks like he still could be on the border, but it comfortably in as Armando gets the next one. So that's the back 10. So currently he has a 280 game. A strike here will put the high game of the day at 290.
And Armando looking to continue the streak.
And
And
there it is, a
does.
290 game for Armando Godoy.
Mr. Sherman is going to put up what looks like from here a 240 something, and it may not be enough.
Depending on what Riley Smith did his last game, will depend on if Kyle Sherman has enough to sneak into the top 8.
We will just have to wait and see, folks. But for now, let's see if he can finish off this game with all 10 in the pit.
And indeed he does.
Kicking the 10 late. Very excited to do so, as now we watch Ben Houston Johnston throw a strike of his own. Orange ball is going down the lane everywhere, folks.
It's an interruption. Austin Easley. Big shot here coming in the 10.
Try to get a strike of his own. Stone's a 7-pin, but a run-in spare here will certainly still help.
Ben Houston Johnson goes 10 in the pit. Unfortunately, from the way it looks, he will not make cut, but he will be here tomorrow for one that he bowls the Midwestern Open Tournament.
And you know, we've mentioned it a few times on the live stream, but Joey, you want to tell us all the details about what's going on tomorrow?
Currently, well, tomorrow we are trying a new. It's a first-time thing. It's a no age limit tournament, and it's the Midwestern Open Tournament, or as I like to call it, the MOT.
The MOT.
It's the same entry fee. $50 if you paid in advance, $55 the day that you walk in. I'm gonna bring us to the booth camp so I can physically eye contact with you guys. But it's going to be the USBC singles pattern tomorrow that would be bowled at Reno. It's a no age limit, so youth bowlers can bowl, adult bowlers can bowl, but instead of it being just 21 and under, it can be anybody from, for instance, people who are in their 70s. And I know for a fact Randy Lightfoot, the owner of the bowling alley, he'll be bowling it, and I'm personally going to put him down as one of my people to probably make cut because I've seen him bowl in the singles event. He placed in the top 10. So he's going to give everyone a run possibly to make the top 8 tomorrow. But there's a lot more opportunity for bowlers to come out, make money, and I think from the way it sounds, we're going to get a decent turnout tomorrow.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to it. We pay out 1 and 3. It's $500 guaranteed, based on 48 entries, and hopefully we get that.
And from the way it looks, we'll probably be getting close to it. So there is a possibility of a $500 payout to the first place winner of tomorrow's event.